What is going on, everybody? This is Andrew from DeFiancy. All right, guys, it's about 5 minutes till 9. We're just going to jump straight into this. We are looking at Avalanche here, and man, what a beauty. This thing has been absolutely ripping. We've been covering it now for about a week or two, and it's really just been up only. I think we started covering it somewhere around 14, somewhere like that. And if you got in then, this thing is up like, you know, 60% since then. And I think it's going to go higher. Now, before we, go into our spiel on altcoins here, I just want to mention, this is not financial advice. Okay, guys? That should be kind of like, common knowledge at this point. No, you should not take financial advice from people making, technical analysis videos on altcoins. And you really have to watch your emotion here. Everyone's getting emotional to a certain degree. A lot of people are more, I think, emotional on the side of, fear of missing out, FOMO. I don't actually think this market is frothy or greedy yet, believe it or not. Even though I know what you're thinking, you see these altcoins moving 20% a day, and you're like, "Oh, this is a bubble." But the reality is, there's not a lot of liquidity for these coins, and they can move a lot. Okay, and if you don't believe me, just look what it's done in the past. Look at this move here, 1,500% roughly. 500%. I mean, this is not uncommon to see altcoins do this actually. When you're in alt season, right now you're in alt season. Now, I do believe you're going to get pullbacks along the way, but we've been talking about this $38 level. That's where Avalanche is going, in my opinion, before I get to a point where I'm like, you know what? I might want to, sell some of this. I just don't see any point of selling this altcoin until it gets there because it's so down from the high here. I know some people will say, well, it's down because it's not worth anything. Okay. Yeah, that's your opinion, but I do believe this does have value. It is a blockchain network that does have things going for it. We can go over some of the fundamentals later. But for now, because we want to talk about other altcoins, we're just going to skip through this. I do believe it has value. What's its value? I don't know, but I think it's more than what it's valued at now. And it's always going to overshoot when it's trying to reprice, right? It always undershoots or it goes, whenever it sells off, it goes down dramatically and it gets undervalued. And then when it recovers, it gets back, it gets overvalued again. And again, I don't know what it should be valued at, but I think it will come up at least to this 38K level. And I'm sorry, $38 level. And now that's at, about 60%. Still a pretty monstrous move. But yeah, I think people should just understand that dips are for buying until they don't work, until the music stops. And I think there's a lot of run room left in some of these alts, especially some of these alts like, let's see here. We got a lot of alts I want to talk about, but I think I keep bringing up Near. I think it has the best setup right now because it has about 200% till it gets to its 25% retracement level, whereas Near now it's like 60%. And if you look at Near, you can see that it is just kind of building out this base here. Okay, we're gonna go into why this is important. I'm gonna drink some coffee here. You wanna drink some coffee with me? Cheers. Oh yeah, that's really good coffee. Hopefully that gets edited out. Okay, anyway. So why am I showing you Near here? And I want you to understand that structure, what we call microstructure and just price action, whatever you want to call it, is really important for my decision making when I get into these altcoins. I'm getting so many questions from people like, how do you know that these things are going to go? How do you know they're going to pump? Because whales give you a signature on the chart that they're getting in. When they get in, they pump things. They do not get into things and just, for no reason. When they get into something, you can expect that they're going to throw gas on the fire, meaning they will help pump it up later because they want people to join in. They want to get people emotional to buy the asset. But if you see them getting set, okay, building this base out, higher lows, you know that they're getting in. And it's not going to be long until we're talking about Near, like we're looking at Avalanche now, which if you look at Avalanche, it's really been up only, okay? But that didn't just happen, okay? It built out a base, not quite like Avalanche. Avalanche actually, or I'm sorry, not quite like Near. Near actually has a better base in my opinion. But you had a lot of walk up here, a lot of consolidation, and really this is basically never stopped from here. So I guess you can't really compare this, sorry, to Avalanche. It's not a great example, but I know there's some better examples on what I'm talking about. So I just showed you that near chart. Let's look at render. This is a perfect example. This is another one we've been trading in the Discord. I mean, absolute monster. I'm still in this right now because I think it goes at least to about 4.25, something like that. But look at this structure here. And this one was such an obvious long. We talked about this in the Discord. Um, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it's kind of surprised me how quickly it's blasted off. But you see this right here, okay? This is a microstructure. Notice how it's just consolidating, and it's not making. It actually did make a new low there, but it's got this base that it's building out, and it's just kind of a tight little range, and it has a narrative. Okay, so that's important. But when you have price action that looks like this, you're in an altcoin rally. You have an AI bubble that's probably in the making in the stock market. I mean, Microsoft is in price discovery at all-time high, or was. Pretty sure it is still. And you have Nvidia that looks like it's about to go to all-time high if it's not already there. This is an AI coin for crypto, and it's going to benefit disproportionately from that narrative, and that is one hell of a narrative. So this kind of price action, and this really started down here. This is just massive accumulation. But this is what I really like to see. And notice the response once you broke out. I mean, once you broke over this, it was like 30%. So that's what I see with near eventually. Okay. Another one I want to talk about is dYdX. There's not a whole lot of projects that have quite a product like dYdX. I think that this is probably, or maybe this is the greatest app built in crypto yet. I mean, it's just a fantastic product, and a lot of people don't even really know about it. It has a pretty large fully diluted value, and I think that's why people have been hesitant to buy in. But this thing has been basically sideways for like a year, and it finally broke out of what I would call this accumulation range. And we actually entered into dYdX right here, roughly 3.7, I mean, basically the bottom of today. And I'm not saying that it can't go lower, but I like any kind of long as it comes and confirms this breakout, because I think that dYdX is going to like $10 or something. So that's like a 3x from here. Actually, I think less than a 3x, like, yeah, a lot less than a 3x. So that's like 1.5x. But that's a solid trade. I think it goes there pretty easy because, again, this is one of the real projects. And look, I'd have to make a whole new video on why I think dYdX is valuable from a tokenomic standpoint. It actually redistributes, or it's going to be redistributing revenue from the protocol to the token holders. It's fully decentralized. They just released their version 4, and I think there's a lot to be excited about with this project. I mean, it's a real project that makes real money. They have real cash flow. At least they have. They just, again, they just made a new version, and we'll see how that performs. But if we can use the old version as a proxy, and now this is upgraded, they built their own blockchain, customized blockchain for trading. I think it's going to do well. Okay, so that's another one we're watching. Again, anywhere close to this like 3.5 level, if you get there, that's a good level to be adding this one, assuming we stay into this altcoin rally, right? Which we're in an altcoin rally right now, right? A lot of things can change. Things look pretty good right now. What else we got here? Guys? I'm gonna cover Atom. This one's been kind of slow to get started, but I do like Atom. I mean, the Cosmos ecosystem in general, if we're going to use any kind of fundamentals with this, I mean, the technicals look good, but I do believe this is going to come back up to this $15 level. In terms of entry from here, it's hard to say where you would really get in. If this is one, I would say just get a spot bag or wait for some kind of pullback, but I think it's going higher in the short term to at least this like $12 level. That's this trend line. Yeah, I just want to put that on people's radar. I think that's a decent one. There are better ones, like I say, but like we covered before, like I think Render's still a better one. Again, you don't want to buy this necessarily right here, but any kind of pullback on Render is, this is going to be a higher performer for a while. Okay, I'm expecting that just to keep going up with pullbacks. Okay, Blah, 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 blah. What else we got here? So we covered dYdX, we covered render, we covered AVAX, we covered near. Oh, I remember now. We're going to cover Synthetix, SNX, which we caught a really nice trade in the Discord uh, yesterday. So we longed somewhere around here. We took profit up here, people that were paying attention to the Discord, and then we re-longed this morning here. So this has been an absolute banger so far for us for DeFiancy Discord because two really nice trades in like less than 12 hours. And I think it's going a lot higher. I mean, this is a beautiful response on this pullback. You're sitting here grinding at resistance. Again, this is a very strong level of resistance, clearly. But once you break out of this thing is going, this thing's going places, guys. So let me just show you what we got here on the, expectation wise, about 130%. That's what I'm expecting before this thing gets to a point where I'm like, all right, I'm not as interested in it. That's a long way. If it breaks out, I'm not going to cut this trade. We cut it because we like to respect our rules. We get to, we're in good profit. We get to resistance. We're going to take profit. That's a rule. But on the break, if we're still in it, we're just going to let that run. I'm not going to cut it. And I think that's really all the alts I want to cover today. I mean, if we want to finish this video off of Bitcoin, I think that's probably a good idea. Excuse me. So Bitcoin, it's still just kind of chopping around. We talked about how it's basically range bound here. It tried to break out last night. Actually fooled me because I thought it was going to try. I actually thought it was going to break out the way that the order flow was looking, and then it just stopped. Buyers just kind of stopped, and then price just kind of like it just sat there for a minute, and then it just basically retraced half the move, or about 40% of the move, I guess, 30% of the move, whatever, from yesterday's lows, or really that was the day before. So basically, the range low, it came back to the range high, and now it's kind of almost halfway. We'll just say that, right? And it's still just chopping around. I'm not interested in trading this, okay? But I do want it to stay put. I want it to stay between these, between these levels here. And the reason why is because altcoins do really well when Bitcoin's just ranging, chopping around, right? Once it blasts up, that actually will cause altcoins to stop moving oftentimes, or sometimes even go down because people will sell the altcoins into Bitcoin. And then obviously when it breaks down past a significant level, people sell altcoins, right? Because they're trying to de-risk. But we're not, I don't think we're there yet. So as long as we're ranging, we're still going to be bullish on altcoins. And we're definitely going to be bullish on altcoins whenever it breaks down and we get a big sell-off, because that's when I want to add some pretty large bags myself. Right now, I'm still using quite a bit of risk management because eventually you'll get a pullback, right? And we want to have a lot of capital on the sideline, to be able to take advantage of that. But I think that's all we're going to cover today, guys. Until next time, happy hunting, friends.